On this computer, and we're recording. Hi, everybody. I'm here with Maria Portas, who is a spiritual life purpose mentor who chooses to live a big life through getting into alignment and creating the best life for her, her kids, and humanity, which is what I'm really excited to speak with you about. Welcome, Maria. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. So excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. I just want to let everyone know that actually myself and Maria were in a mastermind together, and obviously we connected, but never actually spoke until today. and I knew it was a great decision to reach out to you, Maria, because I'm excited to have you in my Rise Up and Love Your Life series. And you've got a really interesting story, which I'm excited for you to share with my listeners and to hear about what you do. So in a nutshell, I think it's best that you explain, Maria, what you do. Let everyone know.
Okay. So what I'm currently doing now is I have been given a purpose to bring in the new earth, right? To raise the vibration of the earth, and that means that raising the vibration of humanity, which is a job for all of us. And so it is like awakening people to the highest version of themselves. And so that's the purpose that I have right now. And so the way that I do that is I either connect you to the divine, or I awaken I activate your purpose, and that way you begin to you see your greatness and then begin to put that out into the world. And then as more of us rise, then this world just shifts into a new vibration, into a new reality that we can bring in.
Beautiful. And discovering your purpose, that's what we decided to zone in on, even though I know that you do so many things and call yourself a mystic as well. Why do you call yourself a mystic?
So about 10 years ago, I had an awakening, and I had my Eat, Pray, Love moment, where Elizabeth Gilbert went around the world, went to Bali and Italy and everything. Well, I had my Eat, Pray, Love moment, being a single mum, 3 little kids, and I had it all in my lounge room. So I dropped to my knees, because we were talking earlier about when you have like one of those breakdowns where you just cry for 3 days. I cried for about a week or two, and I thought, what is happening to me? And I knew there was a lot of things happening in my life, things that I should have let go of. But I had that moment where it was like, oh my goodness, I cannot do this one moment longer. It was just like, it was all too much. And the fact that I was crying, I had always been able to hold it together for my children and things like that. But all of a sudden this moment came that it was just like, something's happening. I felt like I was crying so much that it was like I felt like a death, right? And so I remember dropping to my knees, and I thought, I cannot do this. So it was a point of surrender, and all of a sudden I had that awakening, and all of a sudden for the first time I heard this audible voice, and it was just like, all I heard was, you are nothing without me. And I had felt so yuck inside, but that voice came through, and it was like, you are nothing without me. And although
when you say it came through, Maria, sorry, I'm really curious about that. Is it as if you heard, what did that voice sound like? As if the voice of a person, or more in between a person and your own mind? How would you describe that voice?
It wasn't like this time it wasn't like it was in my mind or anything. It was like an audible voice that kind of took up the whole room. It sounded like a human being, but it wasn't like a human being. It was like coming from up above, and it was like, you are nothing without me. But what happened at that moment was, it was the most beautiful feeling, that everything was just like, love was just poured through me. So although it sounds negative, you are nothing without me, it was just so positive, because it was like, I am everything with you, right? And you're everything with me. So, but at the same moment, I just felt so whole, so complete, so loved, and everything around me it was just like this feeling of peace. And it was just like, it was like this connection that it was like, oh my goodness. And I was just all of a sudden connected to something, but everything, I vibrated the same as everything around me. It was just this peace and love that I felt inside, outside, all over. And so that was the only time I heard this loud, audible voice. And and then from then on, I no longer heard a voice, but over the time, so I kept that feeling inside of me that didn't go away. But over time, I started knowing that my thoughts were being changed. Like I think like I would normally think before, and I probably might have been thinking about my ex and thinking, oh, he's probably doing this or that. And I'd have this little thought of truth that would change my thought at that moment and be, no, he's doing this. Like no, it's not what you thought. And all these things, and I just kept, all my thoughts were being changed to truth. Wow. And I was like, wow, what is that? And I inquired a few people. I thought, oh, maybe I knew what I had experienced was God, right? My version of God, the universe, whatever that is for you. I knew that's what was coming through, my creator. That's what had reached out to me at that point. And then my mind was being changed and changed and changed until I felt like I was in direct connection with the thoughts of God. I felt like everything that was coming through me was like truth kept.
Right. I don't know if you're familiar with the work of Byron Katie, Maria. Have you heard of it? The work of Byron Katie? Yeah. So that's a process. I was a certified facilitator, so I'm very familiar with it. And your story sounds quite like Byron Katie's story, where she had an awakening and then realized that nothing was true in all the thoughts that were coming, all the beliefs, that nothing was true. And then she developed a process to really question your beliefs, because all our stress comes from our beliefs, right? And
exactly.
Yeah, the truth is love, basically.
And so all that kept coming through was this truth and this love and this truth and this love. And it was just like, and I thought, oh, so maybe because I had turned away from God years ago, I still kind of believe, but because of things that had happened when I was younger, I had turned away from God, religion, all that stuff. And this isn't about religion. This is about your direct connection with the divine, right? And so, I began to feel that, and I thought, oh, maybe everybody that goes to church is feeling this now, like, and my mum said, no, they're not feeling what you're feeling, like that's, but it was just this beautiful, beautiful connection. And then I went.
And how did that affect your life, Maria? Then was there a significant effect on your life then, on your relationships and with your children since that moment where you had that awakening? What happened in practical terms?
It was an unraveling, because just before that too, I had been searching through A Course in Miracles. So it wasn't like that moment just appeared. I was in an emotionally, mentally abusive relationship, and so it was coming and going, and he would leave me and come back and all this stuff. And so I went to A Course in Miracles. I had always kind of been in personal development, but then I turned to like Marianne Williamson, Wayne Dyer, and when they keep saying the same book over and over again, and the one that stood out for me was A Course in Miracles. And most of my life I had always gone through life thinking, what's my purpose? We've got to be here for a purpose, right? We've got to be here for something, right? But I have to go back a bit, because I grew up in a family where my father knew the divine, right? So I grew up in a family that knew how to love, knew how to be in relationship with people, had compassion, helped community. Like they were just like we've spoken about Dr. Joe Dispenza before, like that kind of man. That was my father, and he talked and he inspired people, and so I grew up with a man like that, and I knew what full-blown love was, that higher version of love, and him and his, like, my mum and dad had beautiful relationships. So I had all that. But at the age of 11, I was abused, and all of a sudden that filter dropped, right? And then it was like I saw the world like I think everybody else has seen the world. Before that, I got to see it it was like I saw the magic, the energy, everything. It was all magical. So I feel like that mystic was already inside of me. And then the veil dropped, and then I saw it through the eyes of fear. And so I continued that. And once you've been abused, the abuser then leaves, because you stop the abuse when you get older or whatever. But then you continue to abuse yourself, and you do that either by harming whatever, or you then attract men to abuse you. okay, because there's a part of you that
Right.
feels yuck. So that's what I
Yeah.
did, right? So I went down that path, and so it was always an unraveling, trying to unravel this thing inside of me, that to free myself from this person, right? So I had gone down A Course in Miracles, like I said, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is my ticket to freedom, right? I've got this. And I had actually made him bite. Like, he took us out. He'd been missing for like 3 months, didn't come. And then he took myself and our daughter out. He would just come and take us out for a day or whatever. And I felt so bad and lonely at that point that it was just like, oh, well, you know, I'd just take what I could get at that point. And so we went past a bookstore, and he bought me, and I said, oh my God, that book. And because he must have felt guilty or whatever, he goes, I'll buy it for you. And I remember him buying it for me, and I thought, oh my goodness, he does not know what he just bought me, because this is my ticket to, I'm going to be so filled with God and love and like miracles, you know, I'm going to be so filled with miracles that I'm going to be able to strengthen myself and be able to like.
Can you explain, Maria, for anybody who doesn't know A Course in Miracles, just a little bit about the book? What is it?
Yeah, well, A Course in Miracles, it's not like a religion or anything like that. It's actually known as a mind training. It actually trains you to think the way God does, right? So it trains you to think the thoughts of God, or the way the world really is, not the way we see the world, but the complete opposite of like what we see isn't truth, right? And it helps you to see the truth about love, life, relationships, everything. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to see the truth and I'm going to set myself free. Well, the joke was actually on me, right? Because I thought, you know, I'm saved, I've got this or whatever. Right. What A Course in Miracles taught me was to forgive this man, right? So the joke was on me in the end, because it was like I learned how to forgive this man completely, right? Forgiving him doesn't mean just staying with him either, but I still had that journey to go through, but I learned that he was also a child of God. You know, so there was a lot of healing that had to take place. So that was my journey. And so, sorry, I got a message. So if I continued on the journey, and so there was lots of going backwards and forwards. And then when that awakening did happen, that was when I really felt my power, and I had the direct connection with God, and I had the truth, and God would tell me the truth. And if I ask God, so I'm able to ask any questions. I tap into the universal mind. Okay. And that's what I was always obsessed with too. My obsession was always, Albert Einstein has a quote that says, I'm interested in the thoughts of God. Everything else is detail, right? That was Albert Einstein, the way he thought.
I haven't heard that
and
one,
that
but
was
I like
me.
it.
Yeah, when I read that, I thought, oh, that's exactly what I've been obsessed with. I want to know the truth of life.
Exactly. It's like, take a step back from all the drama and really, you know, what are we here for?
Yes, exactly. And I used to walk around, and I remember when I was younger, think, what's our purpose? What are we doing here? What is my purpose here? Like, I remember thinking that. So that's like when you're thinking, what is your purpose? What are those questions that you ponder? What are those questions that you think of? You know, like what fascinates you, and what makes you think deeper? Like, what are those questions that you've asked? Because the same questions that I've asked are the same things that have now opened up to me, right? So I'm able to tap into that universal mind, to the creator, and access anything at all. So I'm able to download any information. So while I was going through that, I was also getting truth. Like, okay, so why does this man not love me? I remember asking that, you know, like, we always want to know. Like, also another thing that I've learned too is that I have access to everything, every answer, whatever, because of that universal truth. I believe we all do. I've just been able to access.
Me too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a remembrance, isn't it?
Yes, but all women want to know, about relationships in the end, right? Does he love me? Does he, like that? We all want to know the big things, but we also want to know, well, does he love me? Is he coming back? Is he this, that, whatever? Am I going to get married? All the stuff. That's what we would want to know in the end. But so I would ask that, and I'm only sharing this because it was such an aha for me. And anyone that may be going through difficult relationships, and I know a lot of my clients that I attract have had narcissistic people in their lives, or like have had troubled relationships, and we grow from them. But when I asked the divine, why can't I be loved? I knew I was a good person. I knew I was a very loving person. I did all the right things. Why can't he love me?
Yep.
And the answer that I received was, he was here to not love you. So his whole purpose in my life was, he was here to not love you until you could love yourself. Right? And that was like, so it was like, God didn't say to me, oh, yes, he loves you, just keeps me happy and just feeds me whatever. No, he said he's here to not love you. So no matter what this guy did, like, he has a spell on him that he's here to not love me. That was his whole purpose with me, is to not love me. Because he had to press every one of those buttons until I could love myself. The moment I loved myself.
Until you wake up.
It was like, okay, I no longer need you in my life anymore. Like, I no longer needed that person in my life because he had played his part.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way of describing it. Yeah, I do believe that all of these challenges happen for us to grow from, if we choose that, and then the lessons fall away, the people fall away, right? When we get it ourselves, that it's our work to do, not their work to change, but our work inside us to do, right?
Exactly. And the thing is, he wasn't like he was spiritual. He wasn't doing the work or anything. So every time he would leave me for months, whatever. Yes, I would go into my sadness, whatever, but I would use that time to study, to really go deep into my work, to go deep into my spiritual work. I was doing all the spiritual work, and when he would come back, he would treat me better. He hadn't done any of the work. I had risen my vibration. I had expected something different. And all of a sudden he would, so it was like, I began to think, well, who's blocking who? You know what I mean? It was like, I'm doing all the work, but he's raising up every time I do. So the more we focus on ourselves, the more we find ourselves, focus on ourselves, love ourselves, we raise everything up around us. Beautiful. Everything has to work better, yeah. But being a mystic is actually having that one-on-one connection with the divine and having the thoughts, being able to access having a direct connection to the divine. That's what it is.
Right. So have you also always done this work, Maria, and helping your clients to find their purpose, etc.? Yeah. Or, when you had your awakening, were you already doing that work?
I started teaching a Course in Miracles. I think just to my awakening, I started teaching A Course in Miracles, because A Course in Miracles, there's a part that actually says, if you don't have a purpose right now, this is your purpose, to teach, to take this and teach. And while you do, you learn. And I thought, oh, that is so beautiful. Like, this actually gives people purpose until they can find their purpose. You know what I mean? Until you find your own purpose. Yeah. So I started teaching it. I started teaching it worldwide. There was like a radio show, and it'd go worldwide. And so I'd go on every week, and they'd have different teachers teaching the Course of Miracles, and I did that. And then I realized that I could ask any question. So I was asked, God downloaded the purpose for me, that I was born, I was created for this reason, and to love and to give love, and, to awaken the planet. And then I realized, oh, hang on. So if I can ask anything, then can I ask for other people's purpose, And so then I started downloading information for other people, and I realized I could access that. And so I was in Australia, and I put my little kids to bed, and then at night I would start with clients in America. So it was their morning, my night, and I would work with clients about their life purpose. So these were people across the world that I knew nothing about, and it wasn't like Facebook or Instagram, where Instagram wasn't born then, but it wasn't like we had, like people shared like they did on Facebook. So most of the time I only had a name, and the information that would come through is such detailed information for each person. It's so detailed, like the very essence of who you are. Even if I don't know you, the very essence of who you are, why you're here, why you were created. Like we were all specifically created to do something. And and I'm just downloaded that. And so, that's what
I'm really curious, Maria, about that process that you do with your clients. Like if I was having a session with you now, how would it work? Do you have to go into a meditation first, or how do you access that information?
Okay, so the way I do it,
are you able to do it for me now? I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the spot.
I should have actually done it before, and I could have shared it on this. We should have actually done it.
We'll have to do a round two.
Because what I actually do prior to the session is the way I receive and channel is I write. And so I'm a scribe I download books, I download all my writing that I share on Facebook, everything, all my posts are just like, I just sit down, put my hands on a keyboard or pen, and it just comes through me. I don't even have to think. It's just, I'm in that space. And so all I would do is ask questions, and it would just I would start writing pages and pages and pages on you, right? On you, on your on everything that comes through around your purpose. And everybody, everybody has a purpose, and everybody has a way of also making money from the purpose, right? To be able to survive, it's not like we had to go out and get something else. We have everything inside of us that we can live and breathe and be abundant from what's within us.
Right. And I'm really curious just about the downloading part, Maria. Do you really kind of get out of your own way, or does your mind ever come in and go, is that right? Or are you just, is that a practice you developed to really be able to be a channel?
Okay, so it just flows out of me, but I think my mind just goes into a different space. It's like there's different mind spaces, like beta, alpha. I think when I access this, like a theta,
gamma,
it's called. And then it's just when I was having the spiritual awakening years ago, one thing that did happen to me is what the doctors call Meniere's disease. I would have full-on dizzy spells. I would have to lie down. But I truly believe, I had looked it up because I thought, no, it's every time I access a new dimension, I felt like I was accessing a new aha, a new revelation. It was like God was taking me higher and higher and higher. And now the energies of our earth have risen, so people are rising with it. But before it was like I was breaking through dimensions. And so I knew the next day I would be like out, like dizzy spells, like not being able to walk. And I had little kids, so it was.
Wow. Yeah. That's
I
interesting.
actually went to doctors and that, but I think it was a way for God to actually stop my mind. Okay. Because our minds are so busy, so busy. And I was able, from that, I know that there's a part of me that I can just, we go into meditation to do that. That's what I don't have to do. I can be in that state right now. I can be like, my mind can be there. It can be like, I can be talking to you now, but I am connected. And it's like a space. It's like
a portal.
It's like a portal that's always open to me. And so I can always access it. But the way I do it, so I really know it's just what's coming through, is I write. And so then I hop on a session with someone, and then I relay all the information. And what's beautiful is I'll tell you things, and I think every time I'm scared, because I'm like, really, I didn't even know this person. I'm going to tell them all this stuff about themselves. And they're just like blown away, because it's always like greater than you thought of yourself, but it's always like so personal to you. Like, that's me. Like, I've never had anyone go, oh no, that's not me. Or like the most magical things will come out and they'll just go, yeah, that's me. I'm owning that. Like, and it's fantastic.
That's really interesting. Is it anything to do with the Akashic records, Maria? Is it like accessing?
I've also thought, is that what I'm accessing too? Because I was never trained in something. It was just this awakening.
Right. I don't know much about the Akashic records, but yeah, I would say
yeah.
Just for anybody, my limited knowledge, just to explain for listeners, the Akashic records has a record of what our life path is. I think, if I understand correctly, and so maybe it is what you're.
Yeah. So I think it could be like the same thing, but I feel. All I know is that I'm connected to the divine, like the creator, the one that created all of this. Mm-hmm. And so I believe if the one created all of this, it also created the Akashic records. But I'm just talking to the divine. I'm getting access from the one that created all this. So it's very like Neil Donald Walsh, where he has these
conversations with God. Awesome book.
That's it.
Yes.
That is it. I just have conversations. I talk about anything, everything. Like God is so personal and so universal too. Like,
oh, beautiful. And then how about meditation, Maria? How do you meditate for hours? Or, well, you said if you have access to that connection all the time, then you probably don't have to meditate for hours and hours, I guess.
Yeah, but I still do basically because we're still in this 3D world, right? I'm still a single mom. Mm-hmm. I've got 3 kids. I've got bills. I've got all the things, and so it is nice to do that. But for me, meditation is also picking up my journal and just saying, okay, this is how I'm feeling, or what do I need to know? And I get a download, and that's just like cleansing for me. But I do enjoy like Dr. Joe's meditations, things like that. I love all that. Like, it's just like tapping
absolutely.
Into things, like,
I'd love you to share a little bit, Maria, because I know you've attended Dr. Joe's advanced workshop twice, and I'd love you to share your experiences just as a background. I mean, anybody who follows me knows that I'm a big fan of his work, and I just really believe that everybody should be tapping into this way of natural healing, because I mean, if you Google Joe Dispenza testimonials, the amount of healings through meditations, we can't ignore it.
No. And I've seen them happen around me too. Like, I've been there at the events. I've seen them happen. He is amazing. I mentioned to you that I attend Dr. Joe's events, not just for the meditations, because his meditations are the most incredible meditations. Like, if you're going to do any meditations, you do that. But when I walk in there, like, the reason I go is because I know that the person leading that knows the divine, knows the quantum, okay? Experiences, I'm there because there's someone that experiences it like I do, has accessed that. And so what he does is take everybody to that place, right? And like Dr. Joe's dream is like my dream, for everybody to be able to access. That's our true identity. That's who we get to access every day, all the time. That's our true identity. We're divine beings. And Dr. Joe takes you through a meditation to be able to access that and create what it is you desire, to heal. But it's just a different energy. It's a different frequency. And so people that aren't used to that frequency, and you've got a whole room raising up, right? You've got this whole room vibrating so high, and it's the most beautiful experience. Like, everybody has to experience it. And he is such a loving being that you just want to be in his presence. Yeah. But the whole room is like a completely different frequency of love. And so, of course, people are going to heal. Like, they're being taken, their bodies, their cells, every cell is just like being risen to a completely different vibration. And so we're tapping into something completely different to what the normal beings are used to.
I think for people that are, again, not used to these words like vibration and frequency, how would you describe that in simple terms, Maria, for somebody totally new to this kind of language?
So we are all energy. Everything is energy. So I'm not talking just spiritual, everything like science-based. It's all energy. And the same energy, or the atoms, everything, it's the same energy going through everything. Everything, like me, you, this screen, everything is actually made of the same energy. It's just in different vibrations, okay? And we see it differently, but all the same thing. And every atom is like 99.999%, 99.99999% space, right?
Yep.
And Dr. Joe explains this better than anybody, right? Because he's done all the
Yeah, he
studies.
really goes
But
into
it's
the
all
science.
science. But it's all space. So most of our body is made of space. It's just energy. Now that energy that is flowing through, I don't think that's just space. Okay, I believe it's the divine flowing through us. It's that universal force flowing, that creation flowing through us. But it's the same for everything. Like there's no separation between us. But we all vibrate differently. If I'm in a low state, if I'm depressed, if I'm sad, if I've got the heaviness of the earth, I'm vibrating at a lower state. And you had mentioned the consciousness.
Yeah, the Hawkins map of consciousness. Yeah, which literally, you can put a number beside each level of emotion that we're vibrating. Like I think it's like 50 and 70 is shame and guilt are the lowest vibrations, and anger actually goes up a little bit on the scale, and then it goes into forgiveness and apparently 80% to 90% of the population are vibrating below 200 on his map of consciousness, and then anything above that is life-giving. Anything below 200 is life-sucking or life-draining. It's very interesting. Hawkins map of consciousness.
Exactly. And I think also Abraham, like Esther and Jerry Hicks, they have their own also similar one too. But I always say to my clients too, sometimes, when they feel like that worthiness thing that sometimes gets us all, and then they raise up and then they're kind of angry that, someone's treated them bad. Well, anger is always a better vibration, right? But you don't also want to stay there. But you're already seeing, you're not depressed, you're seeing yourself like, hey, that's not okay to be treated like that. You're already like in a better vibration. And so it's moving up that scale. But of course, when we're at Dr. Joe's events, we're like reaching states of pure love consciousness, like love. Everybody loves each other in the room. It's just the most magical thing. But that's how I choose to live every day, right? I get to connect to that, and we all have that. It's not some of us are special.
Absolutely. It's remembering it.
It's remembering that we are divine beings. We're here. We landed here. We forgot who we are. That was part of this. Is a whole sacred game. Okay, and everything here is to take us away from remembering who we are, right? It's just a game. It's just distractions to stop us remembering that we are the divine, because otherwise once you remember, it's like, okay, we're all divine, awesome, but we will find ourselves. Everybody will find themselves. It's a journey, and one day you awaken and go, oh, the thing that I want to do is, why go through all that? It's time. Like our planet has shifted. The whole planet is actually, the vibration of the planet has raised too. Not only do we raise, but the planet raised too. So the energies are shifting, and so we get to raise. It's a higher frequency, which makes you feel lighter. It makes you feel better. When I was in an abusive relationship, I looked older than what I do now. I'm 50 years old now.
Yeah, incredible. I couldn't believe you were 50 years old.
But yeah, so I'm 50 and I look better than when I was 46 or 45, right? Because I was in a relationship that wasn't serving me, so I felt the heaviness of the heaviness of the earth. I felt the depression, the sadness, the loneliness that you carry within yourselves, right? And when you release all that, there's this lightness, like my whole body has transformed, like I'm 50 and I look better than I've ever looked. But it's because you just let go of that, or that it's a lighter frequency. You're more lit up.
Right. What I'm really curious about, Maria, is even though I hear that regularly, that we are vibrating at a higher frequency on Earth now, yet look at the planet, environmentally, it's really, what do you think is going to happen? And, you mentioned about being here to create a new Earth. Am I quoting that correctly? So I'm wondering, because according to some experts, there's not going to be any Earth in 50 years' time.
Okay, so the way we were going, there wouldn't be, you know what I mean? There wouldn't be like a new Earth, because the way we're going. Now, our our planet, so Earth has an electromagnetic field around it, and that has always been, excuse me, that has always been measured. It's measured every single day, every hour, every minute. Our planet has been measured by scientists,
right. Yes.
I'm talking spirituality now, which to me it's all combined. But so it's called the Schumann resonance, right? And it actually measures what our planet vibrates at. Other planets vibrate at different things. Our planet has always vibrated at 7.85 hertz or something.
Yes.
Something like that. 7.85 is normal for Earth to vibrate. And so that keeps us, which is also what humanity vibrates, and their central nervous system vibrates at that too. So the whole planet and that thing around it, the electromagnetic force around it, actually vibrates at that, because that actually keeps us at a certain vibration. So a certain vibration.
This is different to the map of consciousness, just to be clear, because 7 would be really low on Hawkins' map of consciousness. But it's a different measurement.
But it is a low vibration compared to other things. If you compared to outside of Earth, it's a very low vibration. But it actually keeps consciousness at a certain place. Yeah. Right? There have been people that have broken out of that consciousness, and they're the ones that we call Jesus, things like that. I believe I broke out of that consciousness, okay? I accessed something outside of the consciousness. And so many have too, right? But that's always, now that, the Schumann resonance, over the last year, every now and then it would double. Like the electromagnetic field would be double that, so to go 14. And everybody was like, whoa, that's huge, because our whole planet is vibrating twice as much as. Now, the other day, over the year, it's gone to 36, it's gone to 65. And the other day, just after the kids went around and had the big climate change, I know you're having one today. But
my daughter got one today.
The day after that, it was the highest vibration ever, which it went to 99 hertz. So from 7.83 to 99, that's a planet vibrating at a whole new version of a planet, right? We've been told, you can look this up anywhere, we've been told we're going from 3D to a 5D version of a planet, right? The planet is raising, the planet is saving itself, and we're all going with it. We're all one, so no one's going to be left behind. My biggest teaching is also oneness. We're all one. We have to realize that. There can't be any separations of countries, this, that, whatever. Oneness. We have to take care of each other. Because
And I personally, I think that the way for working on the environment, I think personally the most effective way is to raise the level of consciousness, to raise the level of love between humans, because a human won't want to hurt and destroy when they've got a higher frequency, a higher vibration. So I think it's the answer to, and of course, amazing 16-year-old Swedish girls that are doing incredible things on the planet. Yeah, that's amazing.
It is raising the vibration. It is when you raise the vibration, you tap into new ideas are downloaded. You can access new ideas. Okay, you're open to a new set of beliefs, new ideas, everything. And then what happens is, if we raise up, if everybody is raising in consciousness because the planet's raising, it allows new frequencies to come in. We raise up too. And this planet only projects, we see only what we believe, right? That's what we're seeing, okay, as an individual, but also as a collective, right? So that's what's happening on the planet. If our frequency rises, like you were saying, we come from a place of love, then we are the projectors on this earth. So that's what we are now going to project. And that's how, if we are all vibrating higher in love, we're going to project the new earth, which is heaven on earth.
Right.
Okay? Because heaven isn't a place we go to. Heaven is an atmosphere. It's a place, it's a creation. It's what we create. And it's here available for us. Let's hear about
beautiful. Just on the, what's it called again? The on that thing
Schumann.
that's
It's Schumann resonance. So it's
Schumann resonance. I
SCH.
must UMAN, maybe UMAN,
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah.
WMAN. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. I'm really curious about that.
You can check that every day. You can check that every day and see what the planet is.
Right. That's really interesting. I wonder why scientists measure that. I have a story about it that I heard. Let me share with you. Recently, I just happened to hear I think I was listening to something about why bad things happen or something like that. And it said about after 9/11, 15 minutes after, and it must have been that scale, apparently it doubled because obviously the amount of love and connection, people came together after such a tragedy. And obviously it's very sad what happened, but I think it's very interesting that that's where people connect. And it doesn't matter what color you are, what race you are, we're all one. And, everybody wanted to help. So I found that
and
really...
that raises the vibration. But that is how we are always supposed to, we always wait till something happens. That is how we are always supposed to live. Like always, like taking care of people around us, not seeing the, you're from here, you're from there. Like it's oneness, it's love. But those things happen, and all of a sudden there's an outpouring of love.
Absolutely. So it doesn't matter what your status is or anything. It's just, we remember, right?
We remember who we are, that we're one, that we're loved.
Exactly.
We remember. We show up as those people. That's what I want. I want to show up without those things happening. We want to show up as those people now. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, fantastic. I knew I needed to interview you, Maria. Such a beautiful, beautiful message. So let's talk about discovering purpose, because I know, with my clients, I often hear that, I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So what would you give? Obviously, I would recommend that people would have a session with you. Does it work in one session, Maria, or how does it work?
It's a one-on-one session. One-on-one session, and it's very, very detailed. It's so beautiful because each one of us is so beautiful and brings such a gift within us, and it's not foreign to you, but you just forget who you are. You forget because of everything society tells you, but you have everything within you to be able to, like I tell you, the message that you're here to share, the purpose, the way you can do your purpose in the world, the people you are here to serve. If it's ideal clients or someone else, I've had people that are meant to be really famous, like actors and stuff like that, so they wouldn't be creating programs. But if you are an entrepreneur, I can reveal the programs that you're supposed to be teaching and things like that. It's very, very
that's really convenient.
I
have to do one of those sessions with you. Right. And absolutely, when we can tune into it ourselves, that's the ideal way to do it. But it's wonderful to hear that, to get those messages through, those divine messages. So what would you recommend, Maria, for somebody who doesn't know? What steps would you recommend for somebody who doesn't know their purpose? If they didn't have access to you, for example, what should be the steps they should take to discover their purpose?
So the first thing to notice is what do you love to do, first of all, okay? Because your purpose is always something that you love. So for me, I was
you're naturally pulled towards,
so I was obsessed with personal development, then I went deeper into spirituality. But so if you walked into a bookstore, what section would you go to?
That's what I always ask people. It's a great way of knowing. Then you really know what you're interested in.
Exactly. That's it. And what videos do you like to watch? If you go to YouTube, what kind of videos do you like to watch? That tells you a lot about what area you're interested in, what kind of things. Is it motivation, inspiration? Is it cooking? Like, it'll be something that's unique to you. Okay? So what are you obsessed with? What do you love? What is it about that? And then another thing would be like choose 5 people that you like. I just like, you look at them and just think, oh my goodness, they have the most, that you are so drawn to. You have the most magnificent life, like back then mine would have been like Marianne Williamson, even they may have passed or whatever, but what is it who are the people that inspire you, right? And write down their values and their qualities. write down some of the qualities that you like about them. Some of the, and even some of the actions that they take. What do you like that they do? So if it was, you know, Tony Robbins or something, that he's motivational and he's a speaker and all that. And so they're clues. So if you get just that, if you give me the 5 people with like their qualities and things that you like that they do, you have a map of pretty much, you've told me who you are. Okay, because the things that you
it's really interesting actually.
The things that you see in others are the things, the qualities that live within you. They're already within you, and they just need to be acknowledged and expanded. Sorry, you're going to say.
No, I think it's because for me, you know, I did that exercise and looked at, you know, who am I drawn to and why. And I mean, one of them is obviously Mother Teresa. She's amazing. Look what she was able to achieve in her life. But then another one is Marilyn Monroe. Why? She's fun. And she really, you know, it's like, but what a contrast, right? But I think we appreciate different things in different people, you know, that, and that's, you know, that's our soup is a mixture of the different people we're attracted to.
And the more we own
Nelson Mandela.
I love all those. Mother Teresa and Nelson Mandela, grew up reading about all of them. But yes, of course, and then Marilyn Monroe, of course, because you have to show that beautiful, fun side of you, that, you know, if it's sexy, if it's all that, we have to, we're women. We have to own that, like the sassy side too. If I hide the sassy side of me, then there's a whole section that's, I can't attract my tribe either, you know, because we're women and we want to show we're beautiful too, and we're part of creation, and so why not show our beauty and our fun and our love?
Absolutely, love it all.
It's all parts. But by doing that, you see, you pretty much have a map there of that's the kind of person you are. And then also, I guess, looking at like the third thing I would say is look what you've already been through. Okay, so how can you help others? What have you been through? Because you have, like, your past does not define you. It's actually there to help you serve others now, right? So it's not like, oh, look at me, I was abused, I'm divorced, I'm this, I'm that, I was depressed. You've been through a lot. You've learned a lot. That was experience, and that's information for you now. Once you get through, like, you're on the other side of it, like, if you're in the thick of it, then it's still very hard. You're still processing. But once you get on the other side of it, then it's like, okay, I'm here to serve now, right? And the more you serve, the more you grow, the more you get to help others. Like I've had an awakening, so I can help others in their awakening. I searched for purpose. What are the questions you used to ask? What were you looking for? I was looking for purpose. I was looking for meaning in my life. I was looking for love. Well, I found the greatest love. I found purpose, and that's what I'm here to give now, right? But also I can help women that have been in abusive relationships, have been unhappy in their relationships, how to find themselves, how to, you know, like, how to work. Like, only when I healed my inner self could the world around me heal and change.
It's an inside job, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And so I get to teach all that now. But so you've had your experiences that will then, so you combine all that, and so, you know, like, I help people, like, get into another stage, see their higher self, see the divine self that they are, their purpose. And also, and how do I do that? I motivate them, I inspire them, I empower them, I get downloads, but, like, it's all there. I did it kind of like Marianne Williamson, like all the people that inspired me. You know, that they were hints for what I was here to do. Yeah.
Right. I have to ask Maria, what's your future vision? Sorry, I didn't send you that question in advance, but I'm really curious.
I truly believe that we are, like, this planet is raising. This planet has risen. It's right there, like, in science. It's proven. It is rising, but the downloads that I'm getting is like the new Earth blueprint has already landed, and it's just us rising up to that and then projecting that out into the world. But I do believe heaven on earth. I do believe there's not going to be the cancer, all that stuff. All that stuff's going because we're raising our frequency. And this is why it's so important for all of us to raise our frequency. But the more of us that are listening to this and raising up, and how do you do that? It's about feeling good, choosing that feeling good, follow
right.
your
I mean,
purpose.
I have a program called GLAD, which I run, and it's specifically based on that: gratitude, love, abundance, and discipline, because it's a disciplined practice, right? I mean, at least initially, until it becomes a habit. To choose to see life from that perspective.
But I still have to choose it every day. I still choose it every day, because if I don't communicate with God, if I don't stop in the morning and communicate with God, by 11 or 12 o'clock, I'm feeling like out of sorts. But I'm then identifying with the world.
Right.
I have to identify with myself.
Drawn into the drama.
Yeah, I have to get up and identify who am I. Like, I'm identifying myself with the divine, that connection. And then I go out to my world. But I'm coming from a completely different place. I'm coming from complete love, right? And so when we're remembering who we are, and I'm telling you now, you're listening to this, you are a divine being. You are full of love. You are whole and complete, no matter what anybody's done or said to you or whatever. You are whole and complete, and you get to show up as that being. You get to wake up and be that being. And as you put that out into the earth, that's what's going to come back to you. That divinity, that abundance, that everything that you're putting out is coming back. If it's fear, that comes back, and if it's love, that comes back. But the new earth is here. We just have to remember it and project that out. This whole world is created, like, if you know anything about quantum and all that, it's all, you can read books about it. Dr. Joe teaches about it. But the quantum, it's just like we're creating all this. This is just all energy. And we get to tell the story that we want. And it's through our beliefs. Yeah, it's through our beliefs.
And when our consciousness raises, our vibration raises, then we tell a better story, basically.
Okay. And you were saying, what's it going to look like? Well, what's it going to look like? There won't be the health problems. There won't be those health issues. There won't be, like, the people that are actually everybody's going to be equal. But if we're going to be looking up to anybody, we're going to see, like the divine says to me, you're going to actually see the people that are actually very connected. They're the ones that are going to draw the people in, right? They're the ones that are very connected. They're the ones that are drawing the people in, because it's not going to matter if you're you've got a title, you're the manager of this bank or that or whatever. That's not going to matter where we're going. It's vibration, it's frequency, it's love. And
I see it as having new metrics for measuring success. Basically, it's not through status, it's through heart expansion and love. That's the new metric.
Yes,
I love how you answered that. What I was referring more to is your personal future vision, but I love that you gave the world vision. This is perfect. And then your role in that is basically, for your future then, Maria, where do you personally see yourself in 5 years' time?
I see myself as always. I see myself so complete within the divine that I don't see my inner self as any different in 5 years' time, because I feel like I already have that connection. It's not like I'm striving to get that connection, but for me, it's having many, like, awakening humanity, like seeing humanity living what I see in my mind, what I know is possible, like the peace, the love, the just full-on expansion. And like, it's just knowing we're not even going to have to even talk. It's just like a vibration from our heart, our minds. It's just,
I've heard that too. That in the future we're not going to talk through words. That's really interesting. Just like animals, I guess.
Yeah, it's all feeling. It's all. It's just I'm going to see that. I know that's going to play out, and we're going to talk and go, we talked about this, and it's here. It's done.
Beautiful.
But to me,
I love it.
Really done. Yeah.
Awesome, Maria. Oh, this has been incredible. Thank you, Maria. I just want you to share finally, Maria, if anybody wants to work with you. And I did offer, and thank you so much. You're so kind. I said, can you give some kind of a discount for my followers? And I'm so grateful that you have offered. So can you share what that is?
Okay, so the divine really, really wants me to get these life purpose sessions out, because the more, like, when you receive this, you know it. I'm telling you something. I'm reminding you of your greatness. I'm reminding you of your divinity. I'm reminding you of something that you already know inside. And so the divine wants me to, you know, do that work with more people so they're awakened. Once you get that, you're awakened and you know, okay, this is my purpose. I know what I'm here to do, be, whatever, and I can get on with it now. And you feel awesome when you get that, right? It's such a beautiful gift to give someone.
Clarity, yeah.
But, so what I wanted to do is, for this group or anyone that listens to this is a part of your group, is to, I'll give you a coupon code that they can put into the payment.
They can literally order it on this session online on your website.
Yeah, I can give you a link that
Excellent.
you can use, and then they could put and I'll give you $100 off. So if they want to do the session, it's $100 off. And then if I'm not sure when this is coming out, but on the 9th up till the 19th of October, I've already
it's being released. In a few days.
So I've taken off $100 already. So with your coupon, it's like they're going to have $200 off if they book by the 19th of October. After that, they still get the $100. And so that's accessible. They just put it in the link and the coupon code. I'll give you all the details. You can put it on underneath. And so you'll have access to that. And that.
Thank you, Maria. And that's $200 off of an investment of how much? What's the
so it's at the moment it's $350.
350 Australian or American dollars?
US. American. Yeah, it's $350 US. So so sorry, it's usually $450, but I've taken $100 off already. So it's $350.
Wow.
And
that's an incredible
your
offer.
$100 off, So I've never done it that low because it was already low enough because I've sold this for over $1,000 in the past. So I was expecting
you to say about $1,000, to be honest.
well, with yours it'll be $250, right? But I have sold this at $650 and $1,000. I was selling them at because you can create a business around it, right? You can just go, okay, putting this into action. This is what I have. This is my message. This is it. You get everything with it. It's like your own little purpose in a box, like your,
absolutely,
your business in a box. I would recommend.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll get the link out. Well, do you want to just to say it out loud as well? Is it on mariaportas.com? MARIAPORTAS.com?
Yeah. So it's mariaportas.com / it's LPB. So Life Purpose Blueprint.
LPB. Right. Okay.
So
okay.
So awesome. LPB, just sure. And then I'll give you the code.
Yeah, the code will be inside my Facebook group. We'll type it inside my Facebook group, Rise Up and Love Your Life. So awesome. Oh, I know this is going to benefit a lot of people, Maria. Thank you so much for your time. It's been awesome to connect with you.
So wonderful.
And I'm excited about that future vision as well.
And thank you for everything you do, because I know your work changes lives and is so important for all of us here.
Thank
you. You come with this energy of more, this energy of expansion, and just this, like that energy that I speak of, to just raise the vibration. That's how you feel when you're around you and speak to you.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you. I love that feedback. I can say that what's probably changed for me, Maria, was, I think for me, just about purpose to finish up on, I was definitely always drawn towards personal development as well, and towards helping people to get clear, when I discovered also that clarity is the answer. We're all in pain because of unclear, telling lies to ourselves basically, or, just not seeing the truth, right? And, but I think more in the early days, I was very much kind of, okay, I want to make a living out of this to pay my bills, right? Very 3D. And now it's much more, okay, how can we really make a contribution on this planet. And so yeah, it's exciting. It feels really good, and I definitely feel very aligned in my purpose, but I'm still very curious about what the divine would tell you about me.
Even,
so
there's so much magic that we're like not even seeing, realizing. You're
awesome.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Maria. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Of course, we can chat about this inside my Facebook group, which is called Rise Up and Love Your Life. So see you all there. Bye, Maria. Thank you.
Bye.